it's Amanda with the very first episode of Words in a Nutshell, and today we're going to turn 3 relatively familiar words into 15. Are you ready? Let's turn 3 words, insomnia, ambulance, ventriloquist, into a plethora of new words like magic. The first word is insomnia, and that comes from the 2 roots for in, which is the negation, and somni, which means sleep. In, the negation, like inappropriate, inefficient, and sufficient, and somni, for sleep, comes from the Roman god Somnus. Somnus, who happens to be the brother of the god of death, Mors, which gives us mortician, postmortem, rigor mortis, and his Greek version is Hypnos, which gives us hypnosis, and his brother in the Greek version is Thanatos, which gives us words like euthanasia. But those are all for a different program. This time we're just going to concentrate on the root somni, to sleep. So let's create some new words with our new root. The first one is somnolent. Somnolent is just the state of being sleepy or drowsy. So like a somnolent little town, or maybe a pasture where somnolent cows are dozing. The second one would be a somnifer. A somnifer is something that causes sleep. Somni, sleep, and fer is the root for causing something. So a somnifer could be something obvious like a sleeping pill, maybe a boring lecture. And if a boring lecture, for instance, causes sleep, it would be somniferous. Or maybe you could have somniferous music that puts a baby to sleep. So something that is somniferous is something that causes drowsiness and sleepiness. And somni, since it's a Latin-based word, also has roots in Latin-based languages. In French, for instance, the word sommeil means sleep. In Italian, sono. In Spanish, sueño. So, sleep. And speaking of foreign words, let's talk about word number 2, ambulance, which comes from the French for hôpital ambulant, which would be literally a walking hospital. But what it really was a conveyance bringing sick people to the hospital using a horse-drawn carriage. Ambulance uses another Latin root, ambulare, which means to walk. From this new root, we have a group of new words. To amble is to walk at a nice leisurely pace, perhaps, through a pasture where you see somnolent cows eating grass. See how I did that? Another word would be ambulatory. The more obscure word would be the section of, say, a monastery where the monks would walk. Or more commonly, if somebody is ambulatory in a medical sense, that means that they are able to walk, perhaps after a surgery or something to that effect. And here's where it becomes really fun, a somnambulist. I'm going to give you a couple seconds to figure that one out. Somni plus ambulist. We got it? Yes, it's a sleepwalker, somebody who walks in their sleep. And that's where etymology becomes really fun. And this word too has a number of foreign connections. In French, a somnambule is simply a sleepwalker. In Spanish, a somnambula or somnambulo would be a sleepwalker, feminine or masculine. In Esperanto, a somnambula is also a sleepwalker, and of course Italian, somnambula, also a sleepwalker. So now you know. Which brings us to our third word, ventriloquist. A ventriloquist was a performer who created the illusion that their dummy could speak by themselves. Some examples would be like Edgar Bergen, who spoke through his dummy, Charlie or Shari Lewis, whose lamb chop seemed to have a mind of its own. And what people believed at the time was that these ventriloquists were able to speak through their stomach. And that gives us 2 new Latin roots, venter, which means stomach, and the very useful root loqui, which means to talk. And once again, this gives us a number of new words. For instance, venter or stomach gives us the word ventral. Ventral means towards the stomach. So a ventral fin on a fish would be the fin that is near its stomach. This also applies to an airplane. Who knew? You've got the ventral side and the dorsal side. The ventral side is in the front, the dorsal in the back. It is also used in the human body too. The ventral side would be the front or the front part of the body. And the root loqui, very useful etymological root, gives us lots and lots of words. For instance, loquacious, if somebody is loquacious, they speak a lot, they're very talkative. To be eloquent means to speak out, it means to speak very persuasively, elegantly. The word colloquial comes from speaking together, and that refers to more common language, colloquial language, as opposed to something more formal. Another word is soliloquy. A soliloquy is when you're on a stage and you're speaking all by yourself. Solo loqui, speaking by yourself. And an obloquy would be to use bad language, to speak against somebody, verbally abuse them. That would be obloquy. And another really fun word is magniloquent, which we're going to get to in another video. We'll talk a little more about magniloquent. But magni means great and loqui means to talk. So to be magniloquent means literally great speech. Mostly it's like something that's pompous and a little arrogant if you speak in a magniloquent manner. Connected to that would be a grandiloquent manner, basically the same thing, speaking in a very pompous or extravagant way, a little more than necessary. And the last one for today, oh, you're going to like this one, somniloquist. What does that mean? I'll give you a few minutes, now I'll give you a few seconds. Somni, sleep, and loqui. It's a sleep talker, a somniloquist, somebody who talks in their sleep. And there you have it, 3 words multiplied into 15. Have a great day.